Good evening.
Good evening.
Somebody's still getting ready. I see. I received a text from Davi at 6:20 saying, "Oh, I'm definitely going to be on time today. Just you wait and see, Manny. I'm definitely going to be on time today," and he still managed to be late. This is what I have to work with, people. He still manages to be late. Dear Lord. What have you got to say for yourself?
Ray Paula does not approve of this message.
Nobody approves of Ray Parler, to be fair. But yeah, so are you ready? I just started without Davian.
Yeah, I'm ready. I was here for the countdown. When it started, it was like 14, 13, 12.
I'm just imitating what you're doing on the camera.
Yeah, I was doing that. I was doing the countdown like that. 14, 13, 12.
This is something we need to start doing for the start of every stream.
Yeah, that's actually one of my workouts at the gym with the dumbbells. I go, working on them shoulders.
Oh yeah, I do that one as well. It's important not to roll. It's important not to roll your shoulders, though. You've got to make sure you just go up and down.
Yeah, shrugging.
Isn't that right, Bavik? You're a muscle man. You're in the comments. Is that an exercise you do? I think there's a name for this exercise as well. I've forgotten what it's called.
Trifactor.
I doubt it, but maybe, especially as trifecta first three. So I'm not sure what three things we're counting. There you go. Apparently it's called shrugs. There you go.
There you go.
Nice and simple. Nice and simple. Another one is when you get the weight here and you just lift it up over your shoulders like that. That's a good one. Yeah. Anyway, we're here to discuss the final episode of the Falcon and Winter Soldier. I honestly don't know what I'm going to do with myself for the next 6 or 7 weeks without a Marvel show to be talking about. But for me, I thought it was a very good ending. Lots of great things to talk about. I thought there's also some things which I'm not entirely sure they pulled that off very well. Before we get into it, what's your kind of overarching view of the episode?
It wasn't as climactic as I expected it to be. In fact, to me, episode 5 was stronger.
Yeah, I thought episode 5 was a better episode as well.
Yeah, than episode 6. I mean, it seems to me, I may be wrong, but it seemed that it was rushed, as in it should have been.
So we're just getting confirmation that one is called the overhead tricep extension. Thank you.
Yeah, and the shrug. So we learned something new today. But yeah, going back to what I was just saying, it seems to me that it was kind of rushed, as in it could have been 7 episodes, as in they could have made that a 2-part, so you could have more details in the story, but it just seemed rushed, like everything, all the revelations we're getting about who the power broker is and whatnot.
Yep.
It just seemed all too sudden in one episode, too much things in one episode.
I agree. I think they definitely could have stretched this out to a 7th episode and make it mean a lot more sense. Made the series make a lot more sense. I think as well. I think the fact that they had rewritten a lot of it definitely showed in this episode. Yeah. But shall we just get straight into it? So we start off and our friends, the Flag Smashers, have got the GRC building taken over. Security's deployed and everything, and Bucky arrives and Falcon's kind of flying in. You can see him, so he's got his new suit, and Sharon's there as well. Sharon is somehow stuck into the country, which again I think does require a bit of explaining. In all fairness, how if she's a big wanted criminal, she's like gotten into the country using like that weird kind of face mask, and one of the first things you see is Falcon just fly into the building And bang, you see his new suit. Davey, what did you think of Falcon's Captain America suit?
The suit was great. How they introduced the suit to us, not so great. How they ended it, if that was the case, and it was just going to make us just see the suit just like that, without any reaction from him, when he tries it on, then you may as well have just shown us the suit at the end of episode 5, because how it just came on screen, literally, like, you didn't know what, how it was ending last in episode 5. We were thinking he's no longer going to be the Falcon, he's possibly going to now be Captain America. So to then go from seeing him from possibly that with this mystery revelation of what's in the briefcase, to then all of a sudden he flies in, then all of a sudden you just see him in the new suit. I thought they could have given him a better entrance, let us build, show it better off. But again, like I said, from what I'm looking at it seems that it was kind of rushed. Yeah, which means maybe there was probably a lot more that you could have had in terms of the build up, his grand entrance with the suit, everything else.
Do you are you saying, like, had you wished there'd been like some, as he's flying in, maybe some camera close up showing different parts of the suit to kind of tease what it might look like? Or maybe in the previous episode, Sam phones up Bucky and's like, oh my God, just look at this beautiful suit you got me. It's beautiful. I'm going to just look so sexy in it.
Yeah, or they could have ended it with him. To me, this would have been the perfect end for episode 5, seeing as though you've gone straight into them fighting in episode 6 with him already in the suit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
My cousin says...
Yeah,
let me read out the comment first, or you read it out before we talk about it. The suit was downplayed a lot. They could have taken the page from the Power Rangers and just do dramatic close-ups.
Exactly. Spot on. Or what they could have done if they wanted to end episode 5 with a bang was he gets that, he opens the briefcase. All of a sudden now, you see, like, he goes in a room or something. Next minute, you see him from the feet up, coming up, the camera coming up. He's talking to Bucky, but you can't see him because it's slowly revealing what he's wearing. And he's like in a mirror or, something like that with the shield in hand. And he's like, I'm ready. And you end it like that. If they'd actually done it, it would have been spot on.
Do you know what I think would have been good, Davian? If he tried it on and the next scene is him on the phone to the Dora Milaje saying, actually, I'm a size L, not a size XL. I'm going to need to send this one back, and could you send me a new one, please? It's a bit baggy on me.
Or he's asking, how do I, this is in like, this is in Wakandan. How do I translate it in English? Like, how do I work the button?
I can't get the wings out. How do I get the wings out?
Do I say, you want me? How does it work? Something like that. But they could have given him a better, like entrance for the suit. The suit could have been christened in better. Like, like Bav said, Power Rangers, when Power Rangers got like a new armor, like a new suit, it's some grand entrance with like, you even get fireworks coming off in the color of their suit, literally, and, a badass pose. Corny, but badass. He should have got something like that. Literally, there was nothing. It's just straight into the fight, as if we already knew what was in the briefcase. That's how it was downplayed, as if we had already known what was in there when we didn't.
What I did like was as soon as he crashes through that window building, he said, I'm Captain America. I'm just like, yeah, you're owning it now. I did like that. I did like the fact, just like, he's owning the fact he's now Captain America, and he's still keeping his previous identity as the Falcon as well, by still having aspects of that suit as well. He's kind of saying, I don't need to be the Steve Rogers Captain America. I can be the Sam Wilson equivalent of the Captain America, and I quite like that.
Yeah, which is perfect. But what they could have done as well, also, like I said, again, focusing on the suit, they could have spent a little bit more time on the suit to let us know that maybe the suit has given him a little bit more like enhanced abilities in terms of when it comes to using the shield, because he barely struggled to handle the shield in the last episode on the ground. How is he able to do all of that in the air?
I like to imagine he's been practicing maybe in the 5 minutes between. You can get a lot of practicing done in 5 minutes.
Yep, in the 1 week that we haven't seen him, literally, he's been practicing and doing everything.
Okay. Penny says, I was so excited when I saw Falcon Captain America. So was I, Penny. So was I.
But what is his name? Is it Falcon America?
No, it is Captain America now. Because, I mean, cutting right to the end, instead of the closing credits saying Falcon and Winter Soldier, it says Captain America and Winter Soldier. So that kind of cements his, yeah, so it cements him now as Captain America. He is Captain America. But yeah, Falcon flies in and him and Batroc get into it a bit. And whilst that is going on, Carly phones up Bucky as a distraction because it seems like Carly wants to get all the hostages out of the building so she can hostage them somewhere else, I imagine.
Sorry, what did you say his name was?
Batroc.
Which is George St. Pierre, yeah?
Yeah.
You know, I think they've made a mistake. He's not named George in that in any way, shape, or form, is he?
No. Why?
If you watch over the episode, there's a scene when one of the flag smasher referred to him as George.
Sorry, my brother's here as well. The suit of that fabric looks a bit cheerleader, a bit like a cheerleader. A little bit.
Give me an A.
A little bit. Yeah, I mean, I think maybe this is the other thing the suit was missing, a set of pom-poms.
Yeah, there you go. And the fireworks.
He should have just gone mental on Batroc, just using a set of pom-poms to like beat him up with. Amazing.
Yeah. Finish it off with a split. And jazz hands.
But I have to say, Penny says, I have to say I had an issue with the whiteface suit. Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I guess it's all about the red, white, and blue to a certain degree. That is the suit which Falcon wears in the comics as well, near enough, when he becomes Captain America. So Bavik actually did. I think that's Bavik just agreeing with his big brother in the comments as well. The entire Umaria family seems to have logged into that, which is great.
Well done.
Which is great. But yeah, Carly phones up Bucky and says, I'm surprised you're here. Like, haven't you ever said something along the lines of, have you ever, you've never had to fight for something worthwhile before, forgetting that Bucky's fought in World War II and fought in the Infinity War and Endgame as well. So he has fought in stuff.
Yeah, but she's a
which
teenager.
Yeah, she's a dumb teenager.
Yeah, so she doesn't realize that, he's that old and he knows stuff. They just think about today.
He's like,
you don't know about struggles. You don't know about struggles. Have you ever sat somewhere and you didn't have like internet? Not knowing that dude was around before there was bloody even probably color TV.
I know, even before, yeah, exactly. Poor Bucky used to play music on a vinyl record player, I imagine, and had to like just deal with scratches and stuff like that on it. But yeah, so but it just turns out Carly's just distracting Bucky. And anyway, so they load all the hostages into these police vehicles, but it turns out they're flag smashers as well. They kind of put these cool locks on the police car.
High tech. Yeah, some high tech locks that you can't break it.
Yeah, and then suddenly you see Sharon get involved, and Sharon, where did she get this weapon from? This kind of like just melted this flag smasher. That was amazing.
Yeah, it was some kind of like what you call it, like a like gas, like some kind of like airborne what do you call those things? Like what possibly America would use, like for gassing and that kind of thing.
Yep.
I thought it was something, at first I thought it was like a tracker she was putting on him. To follow him and obviously track where they're going.
That's
and the next thing you see it literally like, it was just like, damn.
Yep.
It was a mercury bomb. That was extreme.
My brother's just pointed out Sharon is the power broker. We're gonna get onto that later though. I've got feelings about that, I have to say. and not all of them are
Well, before
positive.
you even
Not
have
all of them are
feelings about
positive.
that, did I not call that?
You did call it. You did call it.
Did I not call that in what, week 3 or so? I called it.
You did call it, and if you're the writer, I've got issues with you. But it's okay. It's okay. But anyway, so we got this hostage situation going on, and Carly says to the other flag smashers, "Oh, we're going to kill all the hostages," and you see all the flag smashers being like, "Yeah, we didn't sign up to this. We just wanted a bit of kidnapping and get the rules changed on this refugee thing going on at the moment. We actually don't want to kill anybody." So you can see that Carly's kind of losing the confidence of her minions already.
Yeah, but then at the same time, they followed suit.
Yeah, just like all good soldiers do. I'm only throwing orders. That's what they said in the Nuremberg trials as well. But then you see like this amazing scene. Like, there's been a lot of people on the internet saying that Falcon, we've only seen Falcon like doing action scenes on the ground level, or Captain America. I should refer to him as Captain America now. But now we actually get to see Sam Wilson, Falcon, Captain America actually do a scene where he's actually in the air, chasing after that helicopter, which I thought was a great scene with Red Wing doing this.
Yeah, that was complete badass. Like, which again, like I said, it would have made more sense and explained it a lot more.
Yeah, so Davi just says they were second guessing their leader, Carly. Interesting, definitely.
Yeah, they were. I think they have been from like the first instance of when she killed those, those men in the building, those people in the building.
Yeah.
Because again, that was her kind of going extreme. But I could see her point. She was making the tough decisions that they weren't.
Yep, 100%. And I loved the bit when he manages to rescue the hostages, and loved the bit when the helicopter's about to crash on him and he kind of folds up like a bird and he's got the shield there and it just bangs. Yeah. That was amazing.
But again, it would have helped if they'd spent more time on explaining what his suit is, what his suit does. You didn't know anything about it. So, you didn't know, because if that was a regular Falcon suit, it would have been chopped up.
Yep. Just back to Carly. Bavik says, I think Carly knew she was losing faith within herself. Okay. Yeah, I think Carly knew as well that I think Carly was definitely had a lot of inner turmoil in this episode in regards to what's the best way to proceed. I think maybe she felt as though that she'd gone this far, might as well go all the way.
Well, I think that's what it comes down to is the fact that she's still deep down, she's still a child.
Yeah.
She's not like Sam or even like Bucky, who's actually experienced. Yeah, who's actually experienced war. Even forget his age. The fact that he, the whole Thanos war that they went through, they've been in some kind of battle. She hasn't. All she's experienced is losses and pain. And then she decided that, you know what, I'm going to fight because no one else will. So she hasn't got any experience. So she's literally just doing everything, learning everything as she's going along. But deep down, she's still a child.
Yep.
And she hasn't got anyone that will.
Sorry, so just to go back to the point about Sam bouncing the helicopter off him, they even downplayed that part. They could have done a lot more when he was turtle shelling himself with the shield. Absolutely, I think they could have actually filmed that a different scene. I would have liked to have seen the overhead scene which they done, but also maybe a ground level scene as well.
Yeah,
to see him properly shielding himself.
Yeah, and like in any good anime, when he's about to do it, let him call out the name of that move. Turtle shelling, something like that, and then he just goes into that. The crowd in awe, like, oh my God, I'm the Falcon, watch me, try and hit me, turtle shell. And, obviously there should be a disclaimer, don't try this at home, because someone would probably do it and get killed. But
yes, indeed. And that's actually a good point, actually. The crowd were there watching, they saw all that, and you could see America is slowly falling in love with this version of Captain America. Speaking of,
he's out here turtle shelling folks and doing all sorts.
Speaking of Captain America, your friend then turns up, John Walker.
Yeah.
Captain Turtle, the fifth Ninja Turtle you never knew about.
Exactly. Master Splinter would be so proud of his baby boy.
Well, I mean, this is the one which Master Splinter like forgot about.
Yeah, he threw him out, didn't it?
Yeah.
I wonder why. The other ones are green, and he's not quite green, is he?
He just
He's a
ran out.
different
He just ran out of names of famous painters.
Yeah.
Oh, there must be. I could call him Monet, but I don't fancy calling him Monet. But your man John Walker turns up, confronts Carly, and Carly, she disses him, man. What she says to John Walker, that even hurt me when she said Lamar didn't matter. Even I was like, just go and get her. Just go on, John Walker. Just go and get her.
Well, in that moment, I don't think she was being personal towards him. I think she's just saying that no one is important when it comes to the fight that she's actually doing.
Yeah.
So I think, but obviously, because that's close to home for him, he's going to take that personal. And like I said, which is why I sympathize with him from last time, was because despite his PTSD and everything else, he genuinely cared about his friend.
Yep.
And he genuinely wanted to avenge his friend because he believed that they were doing something good. Despite everything he's going through, he was still looking at like, you know what, this is us trying to protect the world, fighting the good fight like only America can against all you bad guys, you terrorists or whatever.
Yeah. So
and she did the punch as well too on him, didn't she?
Yep. But as well, you could see as well, like how bad his shield was. It just wasn't like doing any damage, and I think it was almost symbolizing the way that shield was disintegrating during that battle. Kind of like was a metaphor for him just losing that identity of Captain America.
Yeah, which will bring a interesting point again later on into what happens next with him.
100%.
And how the two things are very different in terms of Captain America and now the other Captain America. But I won't give him too much grief for the shield because at the end of the day, he did it himself.
Yeah.
Whereas Captain America, Steve Rogers, didn't. He just chose the design. It was then he's like, yeah, I like that one. So it was already made. But for a guy who's literally just a soldier, he done pretty well DIYing that shield himself and doing everything. And he also put, which at first I thought when he was putting in the medals that he won, that he received inside it, I thought it was more like for a slap in the face towards America, like his subordinates, or should I say, sorry, his superiors. But it was actually for inspiration because when he was like,
yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, when he was getting pummeled and literally he's like crumbling under that shield and literally looked up and he saw that medal, like, it literally like invigorated him, what gave him strength to actually try.
It was like the Undertaker when Paul Bearer used to show him the urn, basically.
Yeah, that's all I was missing now. Dead Lamar was like, oh yes,
they've missed the trick there. They've missed the trick there. They should recast Lamar as bring him back as Paul Bearer for the US action. Shows him a medal every time he wants him to do something.
Literally.
Oh God, and you know how like he's the fake Captain America. There was a fake Undertaker as well in wrestling. But anyway,
parallels are like uncanny.
We're digressing. Anyway, there was a load more fight scenes, which I've forgotten half of what went on in that episode because there was so much action.
Remember, Bucky was chasing down the flag smashers to try and rescue those people, and again, it goes to show whatever that lock was that they had on there, on those vans, was incredibly powerful because it literally, he took some serious pounding from his vibranium arm and then literally like every ounce of strength in his body to literally like rip off the handle of that door.
You heard it here first. Bucky dished out a serious pounding. But
yeah, and this is all PG. Literally, he's pounding the metal. Yeah. I don't know where the Duke is going with this, but I am not. # Don't cancel me, Ray Parler.
Anyway, where was I? Oh, but one thing we did need to mention is that there was a moment where John Walker had a choice. He could either go after Carly and extract his revenge on behalf of Lamar, or he could save the people in that vehicle, those hostages in that vehicle, which was on the verge of like tipping over. And John Walker made the right choice. He saved the people, and for me, took his first step in the road to redemption.
Yeah, but it seemed too rushed again.
I was going to say exactly the same thing.
From last week, where dude was like having a psychotic breakdown, he's lost his marbles now, because literally he lost his best friend. He lost the title and the mantle of Captain America. He's murdered someone. Yeah, he's murdered someone. He's lost all his benefits, his pension, everything.
He's lied to Lamar's parents as well.
Yeah, he's also been dishonorably discharged from the military. He was going through all of that while suffering from PTSD. He hasn't got any treatment. And you're telling me in that short space of time, he's managed to keep all his faculties together when he saw that he was going to get his revenge. And he had the choice to either save some of these same bureaucrats who probably were the ones who also signed off on him getting kicked out the army, also losing the mantle of Captain America. And he has a choice: let these fools die who mean nothing to him because they didn't back him, or kill the person who killed his best friend. And he stopped for a second and he did that. No, I think he would, in reality, he would have been like, nope, you know what? I'll leave that to Bucky and their Captain America. Let them save them. I'm not Captain America anyway. I'm going to do what I need to do, which is avenge my friend.
I would have liked to see me personally a bit more build up for him to take that act on and do that. I mean, I'm glad he done it. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad he's but that's why I said it's the first step of his road to redemption. I think this show's just kind of said he's redeemed now to a certain degree.
But that's what I'm saying. You did say that as well too, when we were talking about it. But again, the problem that we're having with it is we both agree on this it was too rushed. Yeah. They should have done this over 2 episodes. This should have been part 1 and then finish it next week, where you could have had a proper build up and a proper revelation of the power broker.
Yep.
Also, give the man, the new Captain America, some shine. Let his armor get the greeting and the welcome into the MCU universe that it deserves. Instead, the only sign of it now is literally with him just flying through that window. Okay, it was a great entrance, but he wasn't even super badass when he came in, because he was still kind of getting handled.
Yeah.
Normally, even when the Power Rangers come out in their new suit, the first enemies that they fight, they don't get touched. They're not getting touched. Literally, they're just like...
Can I make a rule, please, that we don't discuss the Power Rangers ever on this podcast?
Listen, I love Power Rangers.
Oh my God.
I like
You're the same age as me. You should have the same disdain for the Power Rangers I have.
Well, I enjoyed the last movie that you won't watch.
No, I know.
We need to discuss that. Hashtag, we're going to get that trending. Get the Duke to watch Power Rangers, the movie from last time. But he took too much damage for his entrance to come in. No, you should have just come in untouchable.
Yeah. I think we both agree. It just feels rushed with John Walker. A 7th episode would have done so much good.
Yeah, let them people drop off in that truck. Still have that, you're not on that road to redemption yet, because you're not there yet in such a short space of time. You're not that forgiving.
Penny says, oh, no, Davy P. Tut. I think Penny might be referring to your love of Power Rangers.
It's morphin' time, Penny.
It's, calm down. Just calm down.
Yeah, okay,
yeah. Okay. So that happens. And then this is when it really starts to get interesting. And again, I think they're chasing after Carly and the Flag Smashers and whatnot, and they're all running off in different directions. Bucky and John Walker were suddenly running off together like they've been best buddies for years. Which, again, felt too... I'm sure Bucky and Sam were breaking your arm a couple of days ago, but, whatever. And again, I did really enjoy this episode. I'm not like I don't want to sound like I didn't like this episode. I did really enjoy it, but you have to call out the bits that didn't work.
But here's an interesting question: how soon after his arm got broken did this all happen? Because
Super Soldier Serum does heal you extra quick.
Okay, yeah, I get that. But I'm just trying to figure out how long after was that the case?
It felt like days to me. Look, I mean, no, you had the entire scenes where Bucky was hanging out with Sam at Sam's house. So,
okay, yeah, so it could have been maybe a week or so, maybe.
Yeah, okay. so let's say a week. But yeah, so this is where it gets interesting. So we've got this kind of three-way standoff between Batroc, Karli, and Sharon Carter, and it's revealed actually Sharon Carter is the power broker.
And I called it.
It's confusing to me. I gotta say, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
It does to me, and I gave you my points when I said she may have been the power broker. Remember, I said to you, here's a woman that basically tried to save the world, and what happened? She got exiled. She didn't get pardoned or anything. So I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised, the length of what she had to go through to survive. And now she's had a taste of that power. And she's like, you know what, why would I need to come back and be a yes man to government rules and all kind of nonsense just for what? Just to be a good soldier? No, but I did say that to you, did I not?
This is where I think it falls down, though. And don't get me wrong, I think it'll be a pretty cool story if it turns out that Sharon wasn't dusted and she faked her own death. And while she'd faked her own death, this gave her the opportunity to build up all these links in the criminal underworld in Madripoor, which would help her become the power broker. We find out as well that Karli had actually been hanging out with Sharon in Madripoor as well and became kind of like one of her underlings over there.
Exactly.
The bit that doesn't make sense for me is, why did she lead Sam, Bucky, and Zemo to Nagel's, the man making the super soldier serum, when she knows Zemo is just would likely kill him? That's the bit that just doesn't feel right with me.
Well, maybe it's because she's a double agent, so she got what she wanted from it. Who knows? There may be even more serum that we don't know about that she may have.
So Bavik says she might be masquerading as the power broker. So it might not actually be her still. It might have just said, yeah, it's me.
Yeah, that's
whatever
true.
Reason. She has relations with the actual power broker. Again,
that makes sense, because normally a villain is not going to reveal themselves so simplistic, like, yes, I am Thanos, the greatest, who will kill everyone in the world. No. How long did it take in the Avengers movie before we even knew about Thanos? It took a few movies, in the MCU before we got to even see any sign of Thanos or whatever. We thought it was all these villains they were fighting. Turns out that these were all
Thanos in Avengers 1.
Right, but in between that, there were how many other movies that was still kind of leading up to it?
If you count Hulk, there's Iron Man, about 3 or 4 maybe. But
exactly.
Yeah, 3 or 4.
But this was just literally in such a short space of time. She just comes out like, yeah, I'm the power broker. Like, I hope I was right that she was it, and it was basically because she's bitter about how she was treated, being exiled, while everyone else got pardoned, she wasn't.
And there's another bit I'm a bit dodgy about as well, which I'm sure, and maybe in the comments you can correct me or back up this comment, but I'm sure Zemo says that he knows the power broker and refers to the power broker as a male. So
I don't remember, but even if he did, again, it could be a case of who's to say that really is the power broker.
Yeah, the power broker might be lots. The power broker might be lots of people.
Yeah, it might be
she makes a phone call to the actual power broker. We'll get on to that now, actually, because as we're talking about it, might as well finish off this conversation. So yeah, Sharon Carter, by the end of the episode, gets pardoned by the US, and she ends up actually getting a job back in S.H.I.E.L.D. as well. So if she's the power broker, that is, she gets access to all of the secrets and all the cool new tech, which S.H.I.E.L.D. probably have now. and she makes a phone call to somebody. In the comics, there's actually two power brokers who kind of work together. I think she could be the power broker, but there's actually another power broker working with her as well. That's my theory.
Yeah, she don't give off big boss vibes. She
No.
gives off like, I'm number two, like, I work for the big boss. She's not the big boss, she don't wear the big pants.
No. So it just, it does. Or she could be a Skrull. That's the other theory as well going around. Hey, I think everyone's a Skrull right now.
Well, you never know, to be honest. Yeah, that's true. You don't know who's who.
I'm sure in the comments, at least one of those people are a Skrull.
But why would the Skrull want to be on Earth? Like, I mean, didn't they learn what happened to Thanos?
But it's all about what their we don't know what their game plan is yet. Because they're going to have a series called Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion of comics is actually one of my favorite stories. Do you know about the Secret Invasion?
No.
So basically, Secret Invasion takes place a little bit after Civil War, and it basically turns out for the past like 3 or 4 years, maybe even longer, the Skrulls had actually taken over like something like half of all the superheroes on planet Earth. They'd like slowly just been replacing all of these superheroes with themselves, and they only find out when Elektra dies, and when Elektra dies, she reverts to a Skrull form, and then it turns out like near enough everyone's a Skrull, and it's just basically their way of like taking over the planet. Instead of using force, they're just using espionage and being very sneaky about it.
So what did they actually do with the actual heroes that they are replacing?
It's a good question. I can't remember. I read it ages ago. I'm sure they imprisoned them somewhere or something. But even Wolverine was.
So do they have their abilities when they transform into them?
Yeah. So some of them did. Some of them did manage to replicate the powers as well. Even Wolverine was a Skrull as well, I remember. So I did like it because you're watching. Because what I'm hoping now is that you're watching these TV programs, and I'm hoping you're watching these series, and actually in each series, I'm hoping there's one person who's actually a Skrull, but we haven't realized it yet.
But was it in WandaVision we saw a Skrull?
Yeah, at the end.
So yeah, well, this may be it now, isn't it? This might be like a build-up to the next big villains.
Yeah, so
it started off in each like one of those Marvel movies, which was all leading up to Avengers, which all led to Thanos. So this could be it now as well too.
Yeah. So and they've just cast Emilia Clarke, who was Daenerys in Game of Thrones, to be in Secret Invasion.
Yeah, I was reading that.
Thank you, Davi. Yes, in the Secret Invasion, all of the superheroes who'd been supplanted, they were in a prison ship. Of course they were.
It'd be easier to kill them.
Maybe, or maybe they had a use for them. Again, I'm gonna have to go back and reread those.
Maybe they probably need them to be alive in order to replicate the powers. But other than that, you're gonna have to be spending money on food, toiletry, all sorts, entertainment. It's not gonna be easy.
I mean, I just think the Skrulls have a more modern prison system than what we have here on Earth. They're more about rehabilitation. Those Skrulls, they're not just they're not all about chuck them in jail and throw away the key. The Skrulls, they're a progressive race of people.
Yes, we're taking over your world and your life, but we're going to have you living comfortable.
I remember in the comics as well, they used to do these beautiful adverts. They would like when you read the comic, there's like an advert from like a food company or trainer company, but they would like put in adverts which are actually from the Skrulls. So you would be like human child, Skrull child, human child, like in an advert together, like promoting like cohesion between the two races and stuff like that. It was such a cool story, honestly. If you can dig it out somewhere online, I'd really recommend reading it, because It is going to be. It is going to feature in the MCU as well. So it's definitely worth brushing up on. Anyway, back to Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So we have this standoff. Falcon comes in. Batroc is kind of before Falcon comes in. Batroc's kind of telling Sharon, you got to pay me money, if you don't want me to reveal your secret. And then Falcon comes in, and then Carly gets killed and Batroc gets killed, and all the people who know Sharon's secret seemingly are dead. So Sharon is safe, it seems, with her secret of her being the power broker.
Yeah, but again, it was weird because after she shot her and I thought, okay, yeah, she's dead. To then see Falcon America flew out with her and put her on a stretcher. I'm like, well, why would you put a dead body on the stretcher?
Okay. I've got a theory about this. But firstly, you see Falcon. It was a beautiful image if you see it again. The way he comes down like an angel, carrying Carly in his arms. I did think that was a really beautiful image. But I've got a theory that Carly's actually still alive.
Because that's what I was thinking. Because I'm like, well, if someone's dead, you're not going to put them on a stretcher like that or whatever. Maybe he's just saying that just to throw them off. So to the world, she's dead, but she's not actually dead.
Yeah. And I don't even think Falcon knows whether she's dead or alive, but I think, thank you, Bavik agrees with me, she's alive.
No, I think he would know. You know why I say that? Sorry to cut you, Manny P. Remember when the scene on the helicopter, when he got his robot psychic to actually check to see if there's anyone on there that's got aviation, that could actually fly the helicopter. I think the way it was able to do that, it would be able to tell if there's any vital signs on someone who you think may be dead.
Maybe. I don't know if Red Wing was there at that point. And I think it'll be a better story as well.
No, we didn't know. All we see is just him flying down. So there was bits missing in between. So that could be something that we didn't get to see that happened off there or whatever, which would explain why he did that.
Empathy, also like an angel. Absolutely like an angel. But as well, I was going to say as well, the other reason I think Carly survived, super soldier serum. She's got that stuff running through her veins, and that could potentially keep her alive.
And it was body shots. She didn't shoot her in the head.
No, if she'd been shot in the head, she's dead. But I think
should have gone over to her and just bang, 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 give it to her.
Is this like Bucky pounding vibranium again? Sorry. I think Carly could potentially be transported to the power broker. I think there's definitely something. Yeah, I think she's going to be transported. If she's still alive, I think she's going to be transported to someone who has nefarious means for her.
No, she could have gone to the same place where Zemo is on the raft.
Well, potentially. And then you see Falcon get round with the GRC guys and just give this amazing speech, which I'm probably going to repeat to people who annoy me at any point. Just basically saying, the people in power make decisions that don't affect them, and you see that in life all the time. Even in our discussion about the European Super League yesterday, all these people making these big decisions with no kind of thought about the consequence it has for the people affecting them. And importantly, Falcon does this, Sam does this with like America watching and recording it on their cell phone, so they kind of had to kind of take heed of what Sam was saying.
Yeah, microphones was there, so they actually heard. But again, it just goes to show the complete disdain that supposed, elected officials have for the general public.
100%.
And for a soldier, was for someone like Sam, who's literally saved their lives, because God knows how many of them would have been wiped out if Thanos had gotten the Infinity Stones again.
All of them. He was going to erase all life.
Right. And yet still, they had the cheek to actually say to him, well, you don't quite understand. So he's too stupid to understand politics or whatever.
Yeah.
Because politics is more important than people's lives and more important than what he's actually accomplished. So they actually, in that sense, they actually believe that they're more superior to him. Considering if you look at the two, what they've accomplished compared to what he's accomplished, he's way above them. He should be the one telling them, I don't think you quite understand. But just like most politicians, they were so into themselves that they were so out of touch. They were like, no, you don't quite understand, which is so condescending and like talking down to someone, even when it's so obvious. And despite everything that happened, to show you that some leopards just don't change their spot, they did not want to actually even change their views on the whole issues, which is what caused Carly and the Flag Smashers to be acting the way they were. They were still like, no, on the contrary, we're going to still go ahead and do what we're planning to do anyway. We're going to ship these immigrants out.
Yeah, I think it was only because Sam done it in front of the entire world with cameras rolling that they were kind of forced into changing things. And it's a great speech by Sam, and I loved it. But yeah, then we move on to oh god, then we've got these like Romanian flag smashers who have been escorted, who have been taken away by the police, and who turns up but Baron Zemo's butler.
No, but before that, remember when we thought they were going to get locked up, the police who actually was closing the door, he literally gave them the code to let them know that, I'm one of you. So as in you guys are safe.
Oh, I saw another thing as well. Why Sam is giving his speech, John Walker's watching. And I think John Walker kind of clicks like, actually, this guy's the real Captain America, not me. And he kind of gives him that nod, doesn't he, to say, okay, I'm okay with you being Captain America. But again, all this felt a bit rushed as well. Like they're all pally-pally now.
2 episodes, but it was a wonderful speech because he's basically letting them know, I know there's going to be a lot of you who don't want me to be Captain America because your idea of Captain America is blonde hair and blue eyes and all that. So he's making them know, yep, I know I'm black, so I'm not your ideal Captain America of what, your society has this image of what a Captain America, a real hero is, the white guy with the blonde hair and the blue eyes. But he's like, literally, I'm not Steve Rogers, I'm not John Walker, I am me, and I can do the job, which is what? It's a beautiful sentiment. It's basically like he's trying to say, that's how everyone wants to be. We know we might not be the next person, but we just want the opportunity to do what we can. And if we're not good enough for it, then fair enough, replace us. But don't judge us based on our background, where we come from, our color of our skin. Give us a fair shot.
And I think what's important here is that because he's kind of done all of this in front of like the entire world watching, he's now become Captain America on merit. My brother Kay says it was rushed. Hey, you broke my arm, but it's cool,
Exactly,
all's forgiven.
Just like John Walker saving all them politicians, knowing full well that those are the same weasels that would have signed off on him getting that dishonorable discharge from the army. He would have let them drop off in that truck and met their maker.
But I guess that's why it's his redemption, because he made that tough decision.
Yeah, but he wouldn't have done that, Manny P, because dude is going through PTSD. A week ago, got battered by Falcon and Winter Soldier, broken arm and everything. His woman seen it on TV that he got punked by everyone. He murdered someone, and a week later, he's just there like, yay.
Yeah, I agree. I think he needed that bit. John Walker's story in this episode needed a lot more build-up. I think we're all agreed on that.
Well, at least one thing for him got built up really well.
Yep. Go on. So I'm just reading my notes. Go on.
Well, I don't know if I can go ahead and say it now, but with his new suit.
Okay, let's just cover the Flag Smashers bit then. So the Flag Smashers are being taken away, and they get blown up by Zemo's butler. I wonder if his butler is named Alfred. I mean, it's just that's
the MCU Alfred.
Yeah, just like he's there and he's just like blown them up, and Zemo's sat in the raft and he gets the news over the radio and he's like, but I'm still winning even though I'm in the raft. Zemo's just winning all over the shop.
Well, it's strange how that's happened, because it's one of two things.
She
Oh
still
yeah.
stayed by him. Yeah, that's John Walker's
Oh yeah,
wife.
yeah. I mean, come on, yeah. They were child, they were high school sweetheart, and probably prom king and queen, and all that kind of nonsense. And, it would have been him and her as prom king and queen, and Lamar and his chick is like, the prince, prince and the princess, at the prom or whatever. So they were tight knit or whatever. I don't think he's racist or anything like that. I think we spoke about his privilege, but the privilege that he had is not really based because of his color. It's just based on how things have worked out for him in his life in terms of
maybe
from football to his army days, where he's always been sheltered.
Sorry, I'm loving this theory. The butler is the power broker. Zemo works for him. Maybe we've just totally gone the wrong end of the stick here, and actually, the butler is actually the main man. The butler's going to be the new Thanos of Phase 4 of the MCU.
Well, the device he had in the car, was that a phone? It looked like one of those old school.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to rewatch it.
You remember the old school Mercury, like the phone you would have had when we were going to school, like with the pull-out one. It looked like it's that. And if that's the case, if it was that phone, then he definitely is the power broker, because you have to be a pimp to walk around with a phone like that. You can probably contact ET on that phone, and he's just rocking it like it's done.
Are you saying that Zemo's butler is still rocking a Motorola 301 from 1995, which only has like 1 hour's worth of talk time, like on that mobile phone, and doesn't receive text messages?
Yes. What other phones do you see use an aerial antenna? It had an aerial antenna on it.
Fair enough.
In the car, so.
Fair enough. He's now my favorite. If that's true, he's now my favorite character in the entire MCU. If that's true. But then we go on to the next bit. We got Val.
But wait, one sec, Manny. I'm just wondering, either Zemo had planned this when he was waiting for Bucky to come and either join him or kill him in episode 5, or they let him contact them while he was been on the raft, because how else would he have been able to contact him to have that done then?
Now that you mention it, I wonder if Zemo is exactly where he wants to be on the raft. I think Zemo's such a smart character. I don't think anything happens without him kind of nudging it in that direction. I think Zemo seems to win even when he's losing. Great character. Eastern Bloc countries like Sokovia behind in tech and fashion. This is true. Maybe the 301 is just the latest release in Sokovia. Maybe that's true. And that's why Zemo thought his dance moves in the nightclub were so cool, because they were just 1980s dance moves, which he was rocking in
not even 80s. That looks like the 70s, like.
I don't know. They had style in the 70s. The 80s were it kind of,
Yeah, the disco era. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Sorry, I've got another message here. Zemo and Val working together, possibly. So this is going to be my next point. So it blows up, and Val's talking to Walker's wife, and Walker walks in as US agent, and Val's there like, maybe I did blow up that car. Oh, maybe I never. Maybe I did. Maybe I never. So maybe Val and Zemo are in on it together.
Yeah, because how else would he have been able to contact? Like I said, unless he had that pre-planned to say, listen, if this actually happens.
My brother's actually been to Sokovia. I believe you. I believe you. I believe you.
See, I was right, Manny. I told you. That was his phone he was on right there.
My brother actually brought back a souvenir Motorola 301 from Sokovia as well.
That's probably what the scrolls are using as well now, too, over there, like, contacting them on that.
Yeah, maybe. They just put some scroll tech in there to make it all fancy and stuff. But on the outside, it's actually just the Motorola 301. But yeah, I do think... What was filmed at Hendon? Oh, the Sokovia scenes. Yes, they were filmed in Hendon.
That's just down the road from me.
Yeah. So so this brings me on to my next point. So you got Zemo in, and I brought this up in the last episode. And I'd really like to know if Dowdy or my brother, I'm not sure if my brother read the Thunderbolts, but so Val says to John Walker, "You're now my US agent," and John Walker gets really happy because I think when she says that, John Walker's like, "Oh, I've got an identity now. I'm the US agent. I'm not Captain America, but I finally got some identity again, and I can be the cool US agent who can."
But it goes back to what we're talking about with the difference between the new Captain America, his big reveal, and John Walker. John Walker actually got to make an entrance. He comes out and he's like, "Yeah, it's a bit dark." She's like, "Yeah, because what we'll do," which made sense. You're not going to do what Captain America does.
Sorry, because there's someone in the raft that the butler, aka the power broker, wants to liaise with. So he sent his subordinate Zemo there. He's really on this theory that the butler is the power broker.
Yeah, or maybe Zemo knows about the scrolls, like you're saying with your theory. He knows about the scrolls, and he's, as in he knows about the scrolls. So he's going there because he actually sees what's really happening, and he's trying to plan for it.
Maybe I think there is some 4D chess going on, but I do think I'm now veering towards Val starting the Thunderbolts. With US Agent was a Thunderbolt, Zemo was a Thunderbolt, Ghost, who was in the Ant-Man movie, was a Thunderbolt. I think Carly's still alive, so I think Carly could potentially become a Thunderbolt.
Oh my God, Manny, sorry, I have to go back to this because it just popped in my head. You know, in one of the scenes when Sam, Captain America, was fighting against, George, or whatever his name is in the show, George St. Pierre, his enemy.
Batrock.
Yeah, Batrock. And he done that charge with the shield, and he charged through the wall. That was actually a move on Marvel vs. Capcom 2, what Captain America would do. It's called the Charging Star, literally where he charged with the shield like that. But they made it so realistic, it looks like the game where, because he's got the jetpack, the wings, so he used the booster to actually let him, to like thrust him forward.
Oh yeah.
He actually flew him through the wall, and it literally is just like in the game where he actually uses the shield and charges people, and it actually like it's a defense as well as an attack move.
Cool. Well, thanks for interrupting my theory with that little tidbit, David.
Yeah, that was just awesome.
Anyway, as I was saying, I was talking to my friend Dowdy today as well, and he said as well it could be the Dark Avengers. The Dark Avengers was a similar team. I've got it, Dowdy. You're gonna have to jog my memory here. That was run by Norman Osborn, the Green Goblin. But essentially, it could be a similar team, which the Dark Avengers, again, they will just do those missions, which are a bit dark, a bit dirty. They shouldn't really be on the books. So I really hope there's either a Dark Avengers team or a Thunderbolts team.
Well, that's what she said, didn't she?
Yeah.
When he's like, "Oh, it's a bit dark," and she's like, "Yes, because you're not Captain America. You're the U.S. agent. You'll do things that Captain America can't."
Yeah. So I'm quite confident that either there's going to be a Dark Avengers team or there's going to be a Thunderbolts team.
Manny, you know what would have been cool? When she said you'll do things what Captain America can't, she should have had on a projector just playing the clip of when he's there using the shield, hammering dudes. just to highlight what she meant. In case he was wondering what I meant, this, and you just got him there just like decapitating flag smasher.
100%. Yeah, why not? So then we move on, and so that's all very interesting, setting up a few plot points for the future. And then we move on and we have Bucky basically playing out his story. You're right, that was dark. Yeah, I think we need to lighten the tone a bit. But we've just gotten onto Bucky, so we're not going to be lightening the tone at all. So we see Bucky now, he's going through his redemption angle where from episode... Could you stop doing that, please?
I'm the US agent.
You haven't got the chin for it.
Yeah.
But
You just shamed him.
Sorry. This episode of this podcast just turned into a comedy show. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But,
Manny, I'm sorry, but I have to say, if we play charade, at least you'll definitely know one answer when I go like, now who am I?
Yeah. I think we should just move on swiftly. Honestly, I just think we should move on swiftly. Anyway, Bucky's going through his redemption arc. And yeah, he leaves the notebook on his counselor's counseling couch with all the names crossed off to say, I'm moving away from that part of my life now, and I'm going to start being of service to the people I hurt instead of avenging people.
But remember, he didn't do that until after he saw his friend.
My brother says it looks like you're milking a tall cow. He's got a point. Yeah. He probably needs. That's probably why I told you to stop doing that.
Yeah, we need to go to Comic-Con and I'll get the shield.
Or you could just walk around with a huge cow over your head and just milk it as your
Yeah, that might.
Who am I, guys? Who am I?
Yeah, that might get us some subscribers that I'm not sure quite want.
Well, any subscribers are a good subscriber at the moment. But sorry. And there's a bit when just going off topic side, there's a bit when Bucky's looking into the window and looking at Mr. Nakajima through the window. He looks so much like Mark Hamill.
Yeah,
I'm just putting it out there.
That's after they had the talk.
Yeah, he looked. Yeah, after he told Mr. Nakajima that he was the one who killed his son, and he's looking at him, and he looks so much like Mark Hamill. If they cast him as Luke Skywalker, I think it will be a perfect casting. And I think Sebastian Stan might actually be my favorite actor now.
Who?
Sebastian Stan. I think he might actually be my favorite actor now. I actually got my haircut in tribute of Sebastian Stan. Because, Bucky gets his haircut short. I thought, if I
tell you who you look like, Manny P, you won't like it.
Tell me. Just remember my family are in the comments. So
yeah, I know. I'm just saying it's kind of got a hint of Ray Parler's perm.
I look nothing like Ray Parler.
I'm not saying you look like Ray Parler. I'm saying the perm, the fancy dude.
That's my natural hair. My hair is naturally wavy.
So is Parler's, with some chemical and stuff. Okay, Put a picture up next to you, side by side.
Let's stop talking about Ray Parler. Absolutely, there's a rumor that Sebastian Stan is going to play Luke Skywalker or Luke Skywalker, as my brothers refer to him here as. Mr. Nakajima is the power broker. I'm loving these theories coming through at the moment.
Yes, he's just so, he's down for revenge for the loss of his son. He's just been there planning these Wednesday lunches with Bucky just to lure him in, but he knew all along.
Okay, I'm just going to put it out there. Sarah's kids, I think one of them might be the power broker.
Could be.
It could be. And then we get to what I think is my favorite scene in the entire episode. Sam goes and visits Isaiah Bradley, and they have an honest heart-to-heart talk, and it's a beautiful scene. And the guy who plays Isaiah Bradley, just what an actor, Mr. Lumley. Just what an amazing actor this man is. Just from the few, he's probably only had like 4 or 5 minutes worth of screen time in this entire series, but his performances have just been so impactful for the minimum amount of time he's been on TV. And
yeah, Marvel does that though, don't it? They get these actors that can say minimal things but have lasting effect. Like look at Iron when she first came in Civil War, and just the line what she said to Black Widow when she's like, "Move or you will be moved." That was it. Everyone was like, "Oh my God, she gonna kill everybody!" Like because it was just so. It was just so badass,
Yeah, and then but Sam takes Isaiah to the Captain America Museum, and Sam has actually sorted out an actual section for Isaiah Bradley to pay tribute to him. to say, you know, Falcon came through in his word, and he said, you know, I'm going to come through for you, and people are going to know about your story and know how great a dude you were. And I loved it.
I'm in two minds about it.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it because it was great, but what I didn't like was, like, typical with most of things that happen to people of color in history, when it's time for acknowledgement for what they've been through or what's been done to them, it's done on a smaller scale. Whereas when it's to fellow, you know, like first world or white folks or whatever, it's done grand. Now, it wouldn't have taken anything for them to actually, the same way Carly was actually, not Carly, sorry, damn, how can I forget her name? Captain America's niece.
Sharon
got pardoned. You know, they brought her in and she got pardoned. And she had only been in exile and only suffered minimal bad treatment. And she got that in front of Congress where she got like round of applause and all of that.
Yeah, so it could have showed people coming up
to yeah, he should have got a public acknowledgement and a public pardon for what he has been through. But by them doing it such in private, it's like he still does not get the credit that he really deserves. But I think because he's probably so humble and grateful because he wasn't expecting nothing, he's willing to accept the minimal treatment of what he really deserves. This guy's not a regular soldier. This guy was the first Black Captain America. This guy beat the brakes of the Winter Soldier, took his arm and everything, took his soul. And he got put in prison for 30 years, got experimented on. His wife was made to believe that he died. She died without him, not knowing that he was still alive. All of that he went through, and all he's going to get, which was great on Sam's part, but literally it's like Sam's doing the dirty work for America. Like he's basically
he can do that now. Yeah.
No, but I'm saying they should have given him. He should have got like, yeah, he should have got like a public apology, something, some kind of acknowledgement. Not just that section. As much as that's great,
yeah,
he should have got 2 statues too. He should have got one with him as the soldier and one with him as Captain America to acknowledge that there was an actual black man before Sam, who was Captain America, that did all the things. But again, it's like many things. They don't want to repeat, or they don't want to acknowledge what's really happened, because if it does, it's going to open up a whole can of worms that they probably don't want to deal with.
So let me just, yeah, I think there's a few points coming out of this. I wonder if he's now got his own place in the museum, but I wonder if Sam is still keeping that pretense and is still making everybody believe that he's dead. And that's why maybe people can't walk up to him and won't walk up to Isaiah Bradley, because people still think he's dead. And like Sam's like done the tribute for him, but he's still, for Isaiah's safety, he's still maintaining that kind of illusion, that lie that Isaiah's dead. But at the same time, I agree. I think what we got as well is, again, I think we've seen again a rushed episode. Had there been another episode, we could have had more of this stuff where we're seeing more of that tribute to Isaiah, and maybe like it being shown on TV and they're going to show documentaries on Netflix about Isaiah Bradley's life and stuff like this.
Yeah, like or what they could have done, Manny P, is also, if they think if they want to believe that he's dead, then what they could have done was, I thought that too, getting all the fancy things inside.
Should have said the first. No, he would have been the second Captain America, not the first Captain America.
Yeah, he's the second one, Penny. Sorry, my bad. But I mean, they should have, as in, or he's the first Black Captain America.
Yeah.
So he's the second Captain America, but the first Black Captain America. But what they could have done, since they want to play on the fact that he's dead, which means they don't have to pay out any compensation to him or whatever, they could have said, you know what, made a public display of it and hand it to, like, since Sam has got so much power, Sam could have said, you know what, I'm going to take this award for his family, blah, 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 whatever. So he could have received it, but at the same time,
Elijah could have gotten a lot. They could have done a scene where Elijah receives an award on his granddad's behalf.
Yeah, but I'm saying if we wanted to go on the same road where we're saying we don't want his family to be involved because you're trying to protect his family.
Yeah, so as Penny's saying, he did say in episode 5,
Right, that's what I'm saying. So because we didn't want
to know that he
anyone,
was alive.
yeah, then what they could have done was let Sam collect it on his family's behalf, and you leave it right there because no one knows who he is or knows anything about him. So he could have actually done that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think again, what we're seeing here is it was rushed. I think it could have made more of it, but at the same time, I'm glad they've done it. And a story like this hasn't really been told before in the realm of superheroes. Another thing as well, another reason why I really liked this scene as well with the museum. I don't know if you've been following the news this week, Davian. I know you're currently stranded in Jamaica, so you might not have reached you. But there was a report came out this week, basically talking about World War II and about how in World War II there was a lot of Asian and black soldiers who fought for the Allies. But it turns out that those black and Asian soldiers who died, they weren't given their burials were just very simple. They weren't even like acknowledged with like a plaque or a grave or anything, whereas all the white soldiers essentially got like proper graves and got all that stuff. But our soldiers who looked like us, they were just like they weren't, there was barely any paperwork to acknowledge that they were alive. And that came to light this week after a few reviews of how black and Asians were treated during the World War. So what I liked was this was almost juxtaposing that, because it's kind of saying, we do need to honor these people because they haven't been honored before. So I really liked that, just by matter of happenstance, that story was in the media at the same time this week as well.
Yeah, but also in the same breath, Manny.
Mm-hmm. Does it get if someone has the super soldier serum within them? If somebody has a super soldier serum within them, does it get passed down genetically? I don't think so. I don't think it changes the genetics, but
no.
Brother and Davi are in the comments, so they might be able to answer that one better than I can.
Well, it doesn't, because from what I read,
my brother's asking as well, could there been a cameo in the museum with old Steve Rogers? I think a lot of people were expecting old Steve Rogers.
Yeah, Steve Rogers to meet old Isaiah Bradley. First Captain America meeting second Captain America. That would have been awesome. But again, like you said, it was rushed. But in terms of the serum, like passing down genetically, it doesn't, because from what I read about what happened with Isaiah Bradley's grandson, Patriot, who was making. When he's the Patriot, a lot of people actually believed he was a super soldier, and he wasn't. It wasn't until he got severely injured that it came to light that he didn't actually have the super soldier serum in him. And it wasn't until then that Isaiah Bradley gave a blood transfusion with him, and then he became a super soldier.
Yeah,
but it didn't pass genetically like that.
Yep.
But briefly, sorry, Manny, to what we were saying about.
Yeah, so Dad's just confirming what you said. Super soldier serum normally does not pass down genetically.
Yeah, but going back to what you're saying, Manny, about like with the soldiers, of color in the Second World War, things like that. There was information I knew about that before, not about that bit with the grave, but I knew about the fact that they weren't allowed to sit, even like when they captured like German Nazi prisoners, white prisoners, they were allowed to sit, and the black soldiers of color weren't allowed to sit near them. They were treated worse than the Nazi prisoners when even being escorted to prison.
So
that doesn't surprise me. But even what you're saying about with the acknowledgement what Isaiah Bradley got, again, look at the two difference, how his situation was treated in terms of acknowledging what he's done without any pardon, but yet still Sharon's was done in front of Congress. Now, again, like I said, they could have done the fact that Sam organized that. They could have given him the award and the pardon for him to say, you know what, hand this to his family if you have it, if you're in touch with them, blah blah blah. But they didn't do any of that. It was just straight up just the statue, what he probably paid for himself. He organized everything, whereas Sharon got everything else.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
he's a bit more than
you got
her.
to remember though, it's not exactly comparable either because Sharon's still alive and she's going there for like a hearing, whereas Isaiah's in their eyes has been dead for like 40, 50 years. So the way you do things in those circumstances is different as well. But I do take your point. I'm just going to find the quotes. Talk to the people while I find this quote.
Yes, people. So, going by how this is all going, I wouldn't be surprised if Manny, the Duke of Homerton, is the power broker.
If only. If I was the power broker, I wouldn't be sat here right now.
You're playing us, Manny. You know.
Okay, so somebody on the internet has zoomed in to Isaiah Bradley's little bit in the museum, which
yeah, it had some information on there, but you couldn't get to read it properly.
Okay, so this is what the bit you can see. This is what it says. Isaiah was one of a dozen African American soldiers who were recruited against their will and without their consent for participation in human testing in pursuit of the super soldier serum. Most did not survive. The few who lived through the testing were sent on secret missions during the Korean War. During the conflict against all odds, Bradley rescued his fellow soldiers and 26 other POWs from behind the enemy lines. However, fearful of the ramifications of a black super soldier, some individuals within the government tried to erase Isaiah's story from history. His family was issued a falsified death certificate, and for decades, the truth of his unflinching bravery was buried.
So maybe this could be played on in season 2, because there's bound to be people who's going to ask questions, especially now when they see that in the museum. They're going to be like, what else do we not know?
Well, if anything, I think it's going to empower a lot of people of color when they go to the museum and see that part of the exhibition. Definitely, I think it's going to make people ask questions as well about Isaiah Bradley. Who was this man? We need to know more about him. But as I've said as well, I think this is setting up for the Young Avengers as well, because Elijah, as we've said, does become a Young Avenger. And anyway, the penultimate scene is a very nice scene of everybody having a cookout at Sam's house. So that was the Falcon and Winter Soldier. On the whole, what did you think of the series?
On the whole, I thought it was amazing. It was amazingly done. And
in the comments too, what did you think of the series? Carry on.
Kudos to Marvel, MCU, for the way they actually did all of this. Like, I mean, you'd have never thought, going back to when Sam first appeared in the Captain America movies, to that he would have ended up getting his own franchise, literally.
Yeah.
And it's now an integral part in the MC universe, because he's now well known. He's now up there with the Avengers. He's no longer now going to be Captain America's sidekick. He's now going to be a full-fledged hero, just like
Captain America.
Yeah, he's now Captain America. And he's showing that he can hold his own against anyone who he has to go up against. But again, I think we should have had a bit more on his new armor, because I'm pretty sure that the Wakandans is not just going to send him just some pretty colors and that's it. I think with their technology, they're going to put some stuff on there. So I think they could have
like a tracking device. They're like recording everything Falcon's saying as well.
Yeah, in case he says anything bad about Wakanda. Okay, yeah.
My brother says as well, could have expanded it with Sam and Bucky journey. Kind of like them maybe more road tripping it up, maybe.
Yeah, they could have done that, but again, I think maybe because of the fact that they only had 6 episodes, they probably couldn't do that because I think what they probably should have, to me, they should have done maybe 10 episodes. 10 episodes in season one, 10 for each season, just like Games of Thrones, because in the 10 episode, you could spend a bit more time on individual stories and
they made the same mistake to a certain degree as Game of Thrones with the last season.
Well, remember, the last season was only messed up because they didn't finish. The book technically hadn't been finished.
Yeah, but there was a budget group. There was a requirement for them to finish the season. They should have done that in two. There were two stories there which they rammed into one season. But anyway, yeah, they rushed Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I mean, it's good overall, but I think what they can do. They can look at all the great stuff from this season. And then next season, they could even look at it to say, we're going to make 8 or 10 episodes and expand more detailed on certain things in the story. Can you bring up Penny's comment again? Sorry, I didn't.
Yep. Penny said, really enjoyed it. Think you should have gone beyond 6 episodes, though some of the storylines were too rushed. Bavik says it deserved more episodes. Kay says, yes, 10. I think One Division had 6 episodes as well. But I just think Bavik says, well, they could have did an origin episode of Isaiah Bradley and John Walker as well. That could have been an interesting episode. They could have filmed both stories side by side to see how different the lives were, both trying to achieve the same thing.
So that could have been like a filler in before the actual climax of season 1. So like episode 6 could have been like, more about John Walker.
Yeah.
Then 7 and 8 could be like a 2-part episode on Isaiah Bradley, like from what happened to him becoming Captain America, to him being locked up. And then episode 9 and 10 would be the 2 parts of how they would have finished how they finished yesterday's episode.
Yeah,
that could have been in 2 parts, which would have given more detail as to everything that's happened. The suit, because we keep focusing on the suit because it is an important part, because he's the first Black Captain America. Give the man his prop and his shine.
Sorry, was it 9 episodes? Okay, it was 9 episodes.
Yeah.
Dowdy says as well he would have liked to have seen a scene essentially where Rhodey actually meets Isaiah Bradley and Rhodey says to Isaiah, "Thank you for your service." And also would have liked more episodes. I think that would have been quite powerful. Like even like asking Monica Rambeau to just pop down from the space station to meet Isaiah Bradley as well quickly. I think that because they do this in the comics as well, where not all of them, but a lot of the black superheroes go to Isaiah's. They go and meet Isaiah to pay respects to him.
Yeah, I have Nick Fury give him his pardon. Someone who's powerful. Give him his shine, what he deserves.
Yep. Power Man, who's of course Luke Cage. My brother's very much a product of the 80s, so he refers to Luke Cage as Power Man still. But yeah.
Oh, is that what he used to call him?
Yeah, his nickname his superhero name in the Marvel Universe is the Power Man. So maybe he's the power broker. Oh my God. Power Man? Anyway, they could do an origin series on Isaiah Bradley. I would actually love to see an origin story on Isaiah Bradley. Just imagine it, him surviving the super soldier serum experiments, then him having to do the mission where he saves all of his compatriots.
Yeah, literally, that could have been a really great six-part episode, and that would have been great. Where it just solely focuses on his time, literally, like his entire time. Just call it Origins.
And the thing is, I think the actor who plays him, Carl Lumley. How old is Carl Lumley? Let me just Google that. But I think they could de-age him adequately because he's actually older. He looks older than what he really is in the series.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me just see how old he is now in real life. My God, he's actually 69 years old.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, indeed. There you go. But I don't know. They de-aged Samuel Jackson in Captain Marvel. Maybe they could de-age him for a Isaiah
and
Bradley.
Arnold in the last Terminator.
Yeah, so maybe they could de-age him in an Isaiah Bradley series. But yeah, I'd love to see. Or even they could do an animated Isaiah Bradley series, which would be
No, we
canon.
want to see it with real folks, man. You know, get people really into it. Give him his credit. Give him his props. Don't animate the guy.
Yeah, I mean, Disney do some great animated stuff as well, like Clone Wars.
No, they do, but give him his
Star Wars
actual
novels.
stuff, and then you can do an animated series after.
Michael J. White could play.
Oh my God! Yep, that is so true. You know who Michael J. White is?
Not animated. I'm sorry. Don't kill me.
But you know who Michael J. White is, right, Manny?
Of course I do.
He was actually one of the first black superheroes.
Was he?
Yeah. Spawn.
Oh, of course, yes. I've never watched Spawn. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Just Cole Lumley's voice is just so powerful.
Yeah, Michael J. White is powerful, and Michael J. White is an actual martial artist.
Yeah, but it's just but Cole Lumley's voice, though, I'm just going to associate with Isaiah Bradley now forever. I'll just love me personally.
Well, he's Isaiah Bradley, but he's Isaiah Bradley when he's older.
I just want to see him de-aged. That's how I'd want to see it. Cole Lumley de-aged, but maybe Michael J. White as well could do it. But that'd be interesting. But moving forward, where do you think this series is leading us towards in terms of the MCU?
Probably he's going to see now what the. I think season 2 would be real interesting because you're going to see what it's really like. I mean, once the honeymoon stage is over with Black Captain America, how will he really be treated? How will it be? What will the pressures be like being Captain America?
Yep. Oh God. Dowdy says they could do Marvel one-shots on characters like Isaiah Bradley and Agent Wu. That'd be pretty cool. Michael J. White also in Arrow as Bronze Tiger, so he's well versed in the superhero world. Yep. So
he was in Batman. He was in Batman: The Dark Knight.
Was he? But anyway, hey, Elevators is here.
Hey, Elevator.
What's going on? So, Elevators, we were just talking about where Falcon's going to, where the MCU is going now after the end of this series. I think it's setting up a few nice bits. I think, obviously, I've talked about how potentially the Dark Avengers and the Thunderbolts could come out of this. The Sharon Carter stuff could be interesting. I think she could play a role potentially in the Armor Wars series, which Disney are going to do.
But you said something, Manny, that was real interesting because he said at the end of the credits, it no longer said Falcon and Winter Soldier. It said Captain America and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
So maybe what this series was literally like a closure to the entire Steve Rogers Falcon saga.
Yep.
And now it's like a new chapter. So this was like the ending of everything to do with that, with Avengers and Thanos and all of that. And now this is going to be a new chapter.
Yeah. So Elevator says, I'm not sure where they could go from here, basically, unless they set up a new cap for season 2. There's nothing really for Sam and Bucky to fit into. A few more comments, sorry. Bavik says, you mean what new heights the MCU could go? Falcon, oh, Jesus Christ, Falcon Heights. Ah, that's very funny, Bavik. Well done. Well done. Ha ha, indeed. Yes.
It is.
Keep them coming. Dear Lord. But yeah, so I think potentially we could see a Captain America 4 with Anthony Mackie as Captain America. I think with the success of this series, I think there's going to be a huge clamor for that movie to be made.
Yeah, or maybe next where they go now is going to be more with the
Elevator says, a little disappointed that we didn't see Torres as Falcon, but I think we should be patient. I think that will happen
in season 2.
Elevator says, I know Peggy would be disappointed in Sharon.
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
Well, I think she would be disappointed if she knew that Sharon kissed her man.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think, got multiple reasons to be disappointed in her niece.
Kissing on Uncle Roger.
Unless Sharon is a Skrull. Sorry, I'm just putting it out there. I don't know if she is or she isn't, but
no, yeah, I think she's just. I think she felt. I think there's probably a lot more that happened to her that we don't know about.
Davi says, I don't know why. I feel like Anthony Mackie will be recasted. Why do you think that exactly? I'm not entirely sure why. I think he's done a great job.
No, he's done a great job. You never know. They might say he doesn't have enough star power to carry a franchise. They could say stuff like that.
I know, but I think people have gotten so used to him now as Falcon and Captain America. I think it's fine. But yeah, I think Sharon Carter might feature in the Armor Wars with War Machine, because now she's going to have access to all this technology and stuff.
He should be recast. Let's be real. He should be recast.
Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle. He's not no damn War Machine. He's just, oh my God. He looks like War Machine's uncle.
To be honest, I'm not going to disagree with you, but I'm just used to him now as War Machine.
You know what? Ask your brother. Look who in the series. Do you remember the Iron Man series?
Sorry.
In the Iron Man series, do you remember that actually? What's his name?
So Elevator is just saying quickly that he really loved how accurate Sam's suit was to the comics. 100%.
Yeah. If you look do you remember the old Iron Man series, animated series that we used to watch when we were going secondary school?
Yes.
War Machine, when he was actually out Rhodey, he looks like Michael Jai White.
So are you saying that Michael Jai White should play two different characters in the MCU?
No, he could have. No, originally, I've always thought it. Originally, when they casted War Machine, I thought he could have played him based on how he looked in the animated series. He was built like him, and he was serious. He was a very serious. If you remember, Rhodey was quite serious in the animated series. Don Cheadle is not that guy. He's just, every time I see him, I just remember Hotel Rwanda.
Yep. Sorry. So Elevator says, I love the fact that Bucky is now AJ and Cass's cool white uncle. I think Bucky probably wants to become more than the uncle. I think he's looking to become their stepdad. In all honesty. Am I going to have to edit that bit out?
Yeah?
Am I going to have to edit that bit out?
No, I didn't say anything bad. I'm just saying Bucky's
okay, right. I'm just making sure.
Like Buck.
I didn't hear what you said. You sounded like something else.
That's because your mind went there.
The actor who played Work Machine always seemed odd. I'm not entirely sure who Work Machine is, but
well, he's not War Machine. Let's face it. Look at him. He's scrawny. He didn't look the part. He did not look the part. You go back, Manny, and look at the old animated Iron Man series. Look at Rhodey and look at Michael Jai White. Just look at his clips and how he is. He's always quite serious. He's that guy. He should have been him. To
be fair, I know you mean he does look a bit odd as War Machine, but I do like Don Cheadle's comedic delivery of a lot of his lines. But maybe let's judge Don Cheadle.
Why not bring in Kevin Hart then to play War Machine?
Why not? I mean, I wouldn't be against that. But let's judge Don Cheadle after Armor Wars. If he pulls it off, then everyone's wrong. If he doesn't pull it off, then everyone here is right.
But it's not to do with his acting. He's a great actor.
He just doesn't feel. I know he just doesn't feel like War Machine.
He just doesn't. He does not look believable.
Yeah. Elevator says recasting Anthony Mackie as Cap would be so wrong. It would be like recasting Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. It wouldn't be right. I think Elevators is correct here. I think with this series, I think people are now just so attached to Anthony Mackie as that Captain America. Yeah, I just don't think it would work.
Yeah, I think what they should do before they make another movie, Manny, I think they should actually let him do another series
So
I've been saying
says,
that for a while.
the Duke of Homerton, who's me, has the power of editing, aka the power broker. Listen, I'm not the.
I've been saying that for a while.
I'm not the power broker. I can guarantee you that I'm not the power broker.
Well, Bav, just in case y'all weren't aware, he deducted my pay the last few weeks.
That's because you're late. That's because you're late all the time. Even when you text me to say you're going to be on time, you turn up late. This will be reflected in your one-to-one review later on in the month.
Power broker, hashtag.
You'll be lucky to get a 3 out of 5. Let's just say that.
Power broker, power moves.
Elevator says, I was hoping to see War Machine in the finale at some point, but I'm not disappointed. The finale definitely delivered. Okay, so Elevators is actually happy with the finale. We were talking earlier that we felt as though it was a bit rushed and it probably could have been stretched out across 2 episodes.
2 episodes, yeah. What do you think?
Power broker vibes. I haven't got any power broker vibes.
Yeah, you've got the power broker haircut, the jumper.
Do you like my jumper? I think it's quite stylish.
Yeah, you're stylish, Manny.
It actually matches my hair, the colors. But yeah, so yeah, I think overall it was a great series. I think it addressed many.
Definitely, it definitely
addressed
delivered
so many issues, like societal issues, which haven't been addressed that much by superhero series, apart from Watchmen. I think addressed civil rights really well.
Yeah,
I mean that series with actually like talking about like Black Wall Street and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I thought this done a great job as well. Elevator says, did you hear the news that Ben Barnes, who played Jigsaw in Punisher for Information, was supposed to be in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but wasn't able to because of conflicting schedules? I did hear something about that actually, but I didn't actually click into the article. I wish I had done, but I wonder who. I wonder what that would have all been about. Speaking of names, so it's been revealed that Emilia Clarke is going to be in Secret Invasion, the new series on Disney. Who do you think Emilia Clarke could play? And in the comments as well, who could Emilia Clarke play in Secret Invasion?
I don't know who's the heroes or who's in Secret Invasion.
So, as I said, it's a story about the Skrulls taking over Marvel, basically. So basically, the entire Marvel universe plays a part in the Secret Invasion.
Okay.
So, close your eyes and think of Emilia Clarke, but make sure she keeps her. But make sure your mind doesn't go to anywhere weird. And who do you think she could play? Elevator says she could play Veronica Eden. It's a good question. Veronica Eden. I have to jog my memory on that. My brother's saying that my hair looks like that of the Grand Master. Cheers.
Yeah, show us your kung fu, Manny.
No, the Grand Master was a Veronica Eden was a best-selling author. Anyway, she was a Skrull Queen. Veronica Eden was. So yeah, that makes sense. The Grand Master was one of the what do you call them? They're basically these universal beings who basically they're the last remaining survivors of their race, and they gain immortality because of that. I'll send you a picture of the Grand Master later. But yeah, Emilia Clarke, I think, could play a decent Skrull Queen. It would be similar to her character of Daenerys.
Yeah. Daenerys, yeah.
Oh, of course, Florence Pugh was supposed to be in the finale, the end credit scene, but it wouldn't make sense without seeing Black Widow. Okay, so Florence Pugh is also going to be in the MCU as well.
As who?
I'm not sure. Right, Dowdy made a mistake. Veronica Eden is someone else. Okay. Elevators. Who's Veronica Eden again? I'm having a total mind blank here. Oh, of course, yes. Grandmaster is in Ragnarok. It's Jeff Goldblum's character.
Oh yeah, he was funny.
Yeah. So I think moving on, there's a lot going on. We've got Loki coming up in 6 weeks' time. I don't know what I'm going to do myself on a Friday now without an MCU program to watch and to discuss on here with all these beautiful people in the comments.
Well, we could watch some.
She works with both Sword and Hydra. Oh, okay. Okay, so that could work. That could work. But yeah, Are you looking forward to Loki?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to Loki. Loki again was one of those ones where he just stole the show. He came in and he was just a fan favorite.
Optimus Prime is not the power broker.
You never know. He could be crossing over to the MCU. He's jumping ship. He's like, listen, MCU's taking over. You remember our NWO took over in wrestling and everyone wanted to be part of the NWO?
Listen, the multiverse of madness has gone on to new levels if suddenly Optimus Prime's going to
Yeah, Optimus Prime said in his application, I'm no longer an Autobot. I'm now an MCU character.
Yeah.
Hashtag power broker.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to Loki as well. But in the meantime, I think we're going to do 2 more podcasts regarding Marvel.
We're going to do Black Panther.
Yeah, so we're going to do 2 in between now and the Loki series. One's going to be about how theories around how the MCU could introduce mutants into the MCU. I've got my theory that actually there's already mutants in the MCU. They just haven't been named yet. I think Wanda is a mutant. They just haven't called her a mutant yet. That's my personal theory. And we'll do another one about the Black Panther and about how they theories around or just ideas around how they move on with the Black Panther without Chadwick Boseman, without T'Challa, or should they recast T'Challa? I think we should have that conversation as well. FSG is not the power broker. They wish they were the power broker. Brother says, if you're missing your superhero fix, watch Invincible on Prime and Jupiter's Legacy starting soon. I'll put those shows on my list. Elevator says, see, what I think the MCU is doing is they are writing the X-Men. So basically forget about the Fox universe, and with the Netflix people, they are keeping the OGs. And with the Netflix people who think they're keeping the OG story, I agree. Yeah, they're starting from scratch.
I've been seeing some posts about that online where it said that they've almost finished recasting the X-Men.
Okay.
The entire time for the upcoming X-Men movie. I'm just hoping, as you know me, Manny, from back in the day, from a young boy, a Gambit fan. I want a proper Gambit in X-Men. I want Remy LeBeau in X-Men with all his power and glory and all his suave. So we need to discuss that.
Okay, but we can discuss potential casting as well. So, I'm going to knock this on the head. It's nearly 10 o'clock, but after this in the comments as well, if people could just leave in the comments as well their theories around mutants in the MCU.
Or something we could discuss with everyone back on, and we could just do some things because we've got 6 weeks. So, it would be interesting if we could drop in a few more besides the 2 that we've suggested. So any other Marvel series or movies or anything you want us to discuss, then just put it in. We can rewatch if need be, and then set the date and we discuss it with the power broker.
Yeah, 100%.
Duke of Homerton.
Yeah, 100%. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in. This has actually been a great podcast. Really enjoyed this stream. Davian, say goodbye to everybody.
Yes, Davey out. See y'all later.